Hello. So in this episode, we will be looking forward to Android application development and how to get started with the development of Android. Greetings to all our webinar attendees. I'm Tom Oz, and throughout this episode, I will be guiding you all on how to develop or how to become an Android application developer. This is the first webinar on Android application development, and in this first webinar we will be looking forward towards the basics of Android application development. This webinar on Android application development or on basics of Android application development is proudly sponsored by STMS and managed in Scissors of Universe.com. STMS expertise in software development, project audit, project consulting, and training in new technologies. Please visit sentencetms.com and contact us for address and contact details. So let's begin on how and what are the basics of Android application development and how it is done. Moving forward, let's begin with introduction to Android. As we all know, Android application development is an open source application, or Android itself is an open source application. Basically, it is a Linux-based operating system, or it is developed under Linux, which is itself an operating system which is open source. Android development focuses on the development in a platform like mobile applications or in mobile platform, which is itself a low power devices. Android devices are low power devices, as we all know, and Android focus especially on those kind of low power devices. And we all know that Android is developed by the well-renowned software company Google, and Google gives its all product for free, which is one of the best facts of open source companies. The meaning of open source is that every resources that we look forward for are available free of cost anywhere over the internet or anywhere you move. Basically, that's the biggest advantage of Android application development or any open source projects. Looking towards the introduction of Android and its development, we should be able to know what Android or how Android is actually developed. Android application is developed with the help of its own development kit, its own software development kit provided by the Android officials or the official developer of Android. Android has its own environment uh, in order to develop uh, such applications. We need to use Android software development kit. It was first developed by Google in the year 2007, but the commercial production began from the year 2008. Different versions of Android and its operating system and its development. Uh, the commercial development of Android was done in 2008, but different versions started to arise or started to become popular from the year 2012. Jelly Bean 4.1 was one of the first uh, Android operating system to be widely uh, to get widely popular throughout the world. From Jelly Bean onwards, different operating system became popular in the platform of Android that were Lollipop, KitKat, and the latest one is Marshmallow, which is one of the most popular and one of the reliable operating system in the field of Android. As Android is one of the open source application and open source development platform, that adds the advantage to the Android platform. It is open source, which is one of the greatest advantage of Android, regardless of its cost or anything other than Android application or other than any operating system. Android has the huge market since it's open source, unlike Mac or Windows. Android gives its every product free of cost. It has huge market also because it is an open source platform. It has huge resources than any other operating system known till date. It has large development reach. It has a huge community. Uh, the reason behind large development and huge community is also because it's attractive user interface. Uh, the attractiveness that Android projects give is really found in any other operating systems. So that makes Android one of the most powerful and one of the most uh, readily available application in comparison to any other operating system. If we look at what features Android has or what features it provides, then first of all is its user interface. Development of Android application is not only limited to the programming or the technical parts of Android, but also its looks and its feels. How it feels, how it looks matters the most in today's era. The user interface that Android provides is attractive to almost all uh, groups of people from all ages of group of people. Features. Moving on to the features about the Android application development, it's one of the best feature is its database. It has one of the lightest and one of the fastest database, that is SQLite. SQLite is one of the fastest database which is integrated within the Android operating system. Talking about the connectivity or sharing, multimedia sharing, web browsing, and any other features that other operating system provides are also added in Android. Not only that, it is of the one of the most fastest operating system uh, when it comes to the low power devices like like Android phones or Android tablets, which are low power devices, yet they are faster than any other operating systems or any other platforms that we know. Uh, if we look at the web browsing or the fastness of the network or internet connection in your application or in our applications or in our devices, then Android application or Android operating system provides one of the fastest way to get connected to the internet. So one of the feature of Android is its fastness, its reliability, and its uh, matters about security. Android is equally fast, reliable, and secure than any other operating system or any other applications that we know. Multitasking, multi-language support are equally supported by Android. Uh, when we talk about the multitasking in Android operating system or in Android applications or Android devices, it supports multitasking as faster and as reliably as any other operating system does in personal computers or in uh, your low power devices. So Android support multitasking not only in a fastest way but also in a reliable manner. Language support is one of the best feature of Android, as Android is the product of Google. Google itself supports different languages, so there is no question that Android doesn't support the language. The development of Android is basically done with the help of Java, the powerful programming language. Java is the background of Android. It is said that if if you know the development or if you know Java development, then you will be able to do Android in one step easily. I mean to say that if you are able to know the Java codes, then you will be able to develop Android application one step faster than the other person who doesn't know Java at all. So Java is the developing language of Android and is one of the backbone of Android application development. Android has its own environment, which is developed by the help of software development kit of Android, and the programming of Android is done with the help of Java. So Java and Android combined together gives uh, the birth to the Android application. The so developed Android application can be sold to the Google Play, which can be one of the huge opportunity ex- to expose your Android application. The Android application that you have developed uh, will be sold with the help of the Google Play, and Google Play will pay you back after certain downloads. So The marketplace of Android is equally huge because your application will be marketed by Google itself. So in this webinar, what I'm trying to say is the development of Android is equally easy if you know Java programming language and if you have that passion to develop uh, Android application, and if you are ready to dedicate your time to develop Android application, then you can become an Android application developer, and you can make your own Android application if you have passion and dedication towards Java and Android. Moving towards the history of Android, it started from the year 2007. I also mentioned earlier that it was started in 2007 but was commercially produced from 2008. Different versions of Android operating system were introduced from the year 2007. The first version was Cupcake 1.5, and the last, or I'm meaning to say that the latest version of the Android application development or Android operating system is Marshmallow. There are different versions from Cupcakes, Lollipop to Marshmallow. Jelly Bean was one of the widely known operating system which made Android application and Android projects hugely popular throughout the world. Looking at the varieties of Android application, you can develop any sort of Android application once you become an Android application developer. The only thing that you need to know to become an Android application developer is that you need to become passionate about what Android actually is and how Android is actually developed. In order to become an Android application developer and in order to know what are the varieties of Android application development, you need to be able to uh, know what sorts of knowledge that you need to become an Android application developer. Looking at the varieties of Android applications, you can find multimedia, you can find music, sports, navigations, and there are varieties of other applications which you can develop with the help of Android. It has no limits. The Android application development can get equally vast when you have imaginations and you have ability to develop an application. And if you have logics and if you can write those logic with the help of programming, then you can develop any kind of application with the help of Android. Here are a few of them which I have enlisted in my webinar here. You can see that there are Google products which are widely popular and they have different kind of the applications. These days, if you have imagination and if you have knowledge to develop, then you can develop any kind of application. These days, any kind of company or any kind of institution have their own application, from web application to desktop to mobile application. And when it comes to mobile application, every company will have their own Android application. So you can imagine how vast or how huge the scope of Android is. And that describes the varieties of application that can be developed with the help of Android. If we move forward to know about how the environment can be set up or how the environment is developed in any system for Android, Then Android can be developed on any operating system, be it uh, Windows, Mac, or Linux. You can develop Android on any operating system. Android Development Kit or Software Development Kit for Android can be freely downloaded as it is an open source platform. It can be downloaded freely from the internet. I will show you and I'll describe you how those application development or software development kit can be downloaded. In order to use Android or in order to develop Android application, we need to be able to use the JDK version of at least JDK 5. That's the minimum requirement to develop Android application. Android Software Development Kit uh, is one of the key need in order to develop Android application. To run or to develop Android application, as I already said, that JDK 5 will be required, and to run or to see the output during the development of Android, we need to have JRE6, which is also one of the minimum requirement. And after setting up the environment, like installing software development kit and JDK and uh, initializing JRE, we need to download and install IDE, which is the Integrated Development Environment, and that will be, in our case, will be Android Studio. Which is uh, we will be choosing Android Studio because it is one of the simplest way or one of the official way to develop Android application these days, and it supports maximum number of parameters when we use Android Studio. So we will be using Android Studio in our case. Setting up Android, as I also mentioned previously, just earlier, that we need to install uh, software development kit, and before doing that, we need to have Java development kit, which I said that JDK of at least fifth version should be used. We can use any IDE in order to develop Android application, but Android Studio is one of the fastest. So we will be using Android Studio. Android Studio is not only fast, but it is also one of the reliable and it is one of the easiest way to develop Android application. So if we use Android Studio, we will be moving 2 times faster than any other IDE. So using Android Studio will be one of the cleverest way to develop Android application. Now, being a bit more technical, let's have a look at what Android application development architecture, Android devices architecture looks like. First layer definitely is application framework layer. What application framework layer is will be described to you in upcoming webinars. In this webinar, what we'll be looking is we'll be looking surfacely towards how it looks and what it means in general. So application framework will be the first layer, followed by binder IPC proxies. So what is binder IPC proxies will be familiar to you in the upcoming episodes. Android system services. If you look at the Android system services, there are two more partitions inside of it: media server and system server. Media server serves your Android applications, different applications that you have in your devices. System server is one of the backend. Backend is the processor of the applications that you use. Whenever you use any kind of application, there are processes going in the back end, in the system, or in the hardware of your device, which will be covered by the system server. So there are a couple of blocks inside of system server and media server as well. We will be discussing more about those partitions in the upcoming episodes. And there are two more layers, HAL and Linux kernel, and descriptions of both of these will also be clear to you. So these are just different layers inside an architecture of Android application or Android devices. This architecture of Android will be briefly described to you over here. Application framework was one of the first layer. It will be used by application developer like Android application developer. Android app framework. If you look at this block inside of it, there are activity manager, backup manager, Bluetooth. There are different kind of blocks. Activity manager is one of the block which will be playing with your applications, which will be reading your clicks on your applications. Backup manager will be backing up your data generated from different applications. If you use Android device, then you will be able to know that there are caches which will get increased by the time you use your application. Those kind of data or backups of the data of your application will be managed by the backup manager, and there are different other blocks which you will be able to know once we start to develop our application. So this is just surface of how or what are the blocks inside application framework. There are different blocks, as you can see. You don't need to memorize all of this, just simple introduction to all of this, or simple familiarization with all of these blocks will be enough. You don't need to go that deeply in order to become an Android application developer, because you'll be able to know all of these blocks once you start playing with codes, once you start playing with the development environment. The binding items that I mentioned in the architecture block of the Android application, Android architecture as well, was the second layer. Binder IPC proxy was one of the second layer of architecture. So binder IPC is binder inter-process communication. There is a figure that you can see: system services and application process. System services and application process means system service provides how the system will interact, or how your device will interact with your movement with the application. I mean, so if you choose one of the application to run in your Android device, and system service will start your application from the hardware level, and application process will start from there. Actually, what binder IPC does is it allows frameworks to cross-process. There are different frameworks, as we know, in Java as well. It allows high-level framework to communicate with the lower level. When you start any kind of application, then that application needs to know what is going on with its particular hardware. For example, if you try to access some kind of file with a Bluetooth device, then that application should be able to turn on the Bluetooth device at first. So that's what system service and application process do, or binder IPC does. So we will be able to know about this as well when we start to actually move towards development. So these are the surface introduction to all of you that Android application development is not only about coding, it's also about knowing your device or knowing any kind of hardware, because whenever you develop any kind of Android application, then you should be able to know that you are playing with the hardware as well. Because, for example, if you make an Android application like music player, then you should be able to know for which device you are trying to make that particular music player, because uh, that particular application should be able to give good music to the device that you are developing that application for. So the development of Android application is not only uh, playing with Java or playing with Android XML files or different kind of files that comes inside Android, but also the development of application relatively with the hardware as well. So Android application development is the combination of hardware and software programming. I mean, hardware level knowledge is equally important when it comes to Android application development. System service was the third layer, or the partition layer of the architecture. System service provides the functionality of application. It gives how the application will function when you start it. Every application will communicate with the system. It gives you whether you'll be able to access the hardware or not. Uh, that is what Android application development is all about, accessing the hardware of a device. The hardware abstraction layer. If you look at the figure here, the hardware abstraction layer consists of different hardwares like audio, camera, Bluetooth, etc. Android application development, as I also already mentioned, that is the development of your software relatively with respect to the hardware. If you develop if you are developing any kind of Android application, then you should be able to know which relative hardware you are, which hardware you are programming with. So you should be able to know that with which hardware you are programming with, whether it is an audio or a camera or Bluetooth or any other hardware devices. You should be able to know your hardware when it comes to programming. And hardware abstraction layer is the same thing. That is, you should be able to know about your device, different hardware, before starting the programming or before starting your development.